Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Encounter Roleplay. Because we've got the lights off here. There's a storm rolling. There's no internet to live stream at the moment. Twitch is being twitchy, but we're here recording this in the past. Hello to you there in the future. We're playing Nibiru, and it is our final episode 3 of this sci-fi role-playing game of lost memories. More on that in a minute, but let's go around and meet the cast and the crew. Let's remind ourselves of who we are and who we're playing today. And let's start with Cleric Accord. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, Will. I got to hear that at least you've got some power. The lights are on a little bit. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. I am playing Amos of the Dreadlands, who has called upon his nightmare already. We've discovered that he remembers some really dark shit about war, and it kind of leaves him rocking out, curled up in the corner, crying, maybe? I don't know. But
I
looking
imagine it would.
Yeah. But looking forward to getting through this and finding what other horrors that Will has in place for us.
Speaking of horrors, Will has in place. Kidding. Staffan, how you doing today, my friend?
Oh, doing wonderful. Well, at least I seem to have a connection at the moment. I'm going to be reprising Alan of the Dreadlands, the rather paranoid, easily injured, but never quite dead, semi-elderly fighter with...
Well, it only takes one time, Staffan.
And we still have the whole episode to go.
There you go.
Indeed. But I'm all set and saved up all my points to see what chaos can be caused.
Fantastic. And, of course, we have the Birdie Saurus with us today. Birdie, how's it going?
Oh, it's going great as I pet my dog to keep him quiet. Hi, I'm Birdie, aka the Birdie Saurus, and I am playing Savi of the Wilds. And she hooked up with this crew last time and is a little shaken, very confused, doesn't remember much of anything, but she knows that she's in a lot of danger. But these guys helped her out, so she's trying to return the favor. She's starting to regret it, though. A little bit.
A little bit. Things have gotten somewhat horrific in the past couple of hours. So we've been playing. Yeah. Awesome. That is who we'll be today. Drake is unfortunately away for the finale, but I do have the words of Drake, the lyrics indeed as well of Drake, which will be with us today. I hope the spirit of Drake is certainly here. And of course, Charlotte's still away, being a goddamn successful, happy adult. So that's a whole thing as well. But we lucky few are here, who are ready to be tormented and go to horrific places together, because that's what friends do, right? Right, so before we get started today, I'll remind you guys of our sponsors, including Nibiru, the game that we're playing here. It's available on Kickstarter. You can go get the pre-orders and the late backing over on the website. Will be down below in the description of this video. And of course, Fantasy Grounds, our virtual tabletop of choice. You can go download Fantasy Grounds via Steam or via their website, fantasygrounds.com. WhalerGames.co.uk is a go-to destination for tabletop board games, war games, and more, up to 20% off the retail value. And last but not least, tabletoploot.com, who won't be giving away any system dice this episode because we're not live. Oh man, this is like live streaming how they used to do it in the olden days, probably. But definitely check out tabletoploot.com anyway for all their cool dice and accessories over on their site. And a quick recap, I suppose, of what happened last week on Nibiru, in case you missed it or you've just forgotten, like I did, until I had a thorough check of my notes. So the party were fleeing. Well, I guess no, they were pursuing, in fact, Sanada's footsteps and the suspected slicer, which has been haunting the tunnels outside of Nataku. And luckily for them, they managed to pick up on trace. Unfortunately for them, that meant that they had to go through a series of quite horrific encounters with alien-like monsters until they arrived at a room with vats of bubbling liquid inside of it. And Ubar went over and reached one of the arms out of the bubbling pool from their old companion, Lucien, who was a bit of a coward. And as they were trying to make their way out, something has spawned. Something fleshy has spawned from that particular bubbling pool, and none of us are happy about it. So that's where we are. Let's have a quick reminder of what you guys look like at this point in time, frozen, in shock, in horror, in awe of the monstrosity before you in a dark tunnel somewhere in Nibiru. Amintz, what do you look like?
Amintz is kind of a olive-skinned, very sallow kind of complexion. Face is creased. He looks much older than his actual years. This is a guy who looks like he could be anywhere between 35 and 50. Hair is buzzed real short, a lot of liberal gray in it, but hasn't shaved, scruffy beard, also sprinkled with a lot of gray. Scars, very kind of a rangy, lean build to him, wearing loose robes for the most part. He looks like lots of layers with robes over it, so you're never quite sure how much bulk is actually him. And it hides his armor and his weapons.
Cool. And Alam, what about yourself?
Alam is somewhat similar to Amintz in that he's mid-late 40s, so there's that graying of the hair, and his matted black, fairly short cropped hair, dark eyes that are constantly moving backwards and forwards as though he's expecting to have something jump out of the shadows at any moment. He's dressed in fairly normal street clothes, but they're just worn and torn to shreds. So he looks like the remains of a walking battlefield is the way I think of him. He's leaning on a staff that has a lot of wiring to it, and at times he's been known to use that as essentially a cattle prod. And unusually at the moment, he's actually standing up and just leaning on the staff as opposed to being carried around in stretchers.
It's a unique situation for Alam, one which I'm sure will change shortly. But what about Savi?
So Savi is she's wearing pretty plain but well-kept clothes, but they're dirty, and they've been getting dirtier as time goes on, and we traipse through these air vents, and she got stomped by that monster for a couple rounds last time, so she's definitely got a little blood on him now too. And she's got long brown hair, and again, she's got this kind of like covered in soot sort of aura, but it's almost like she doesn't care, like she's a bit of a hippie, so it's just part of her oneness with the earth and whatnot. As for what she looks like in this moment, it's something akin to
Excellent.
Yeah.
So a couple of things happen almost immediately. You watch as something liquid, yet molten flesh pulls itself out of one of the vats and lurches towards you with a horrific gait. And around the same time, you notice that the hand which Ubar had reached out from the vat appears to have gripped itself around Ubar's neck, or at least what there is of a neck. He pulls it off, but you hear him say that damage to the internal systems cannot be repaired. And Ubar shuts down. What do you guys do?
no.
Shoot the flesh thingy with the laser. I've got an energy weapon. I'm going to shoot at the flesh thingy with it.
Excellent. It's still sort of pulling itself out of the vat, so you do have a chance to sort of around get in some rounds.
Yeah, so he's going to kind of move forward, find a nice place. He's got some cover, got some concealment. He's in full urban war mode, having been through a few of those along with Alam after they both left the Dreadlands. He's going to find himself a nice place, and he's going to take a shot.
I like it.
And this 3d4, correct?
3d4, looking for 4s.
All right.
And then a d4 on damage. Nice.
Okay.
Is a success.
Take that.
Hey!
All
Pretty
right,
nice.
I'll take
So each point of damage, as it were, is one step on the damage track down. So this thing is feeling a lot of pain from that. Where do you shoot it?
He's aiming for upper torso, preferably the part of the torso closest to the arm that's reached out and grabbed him. So upper left torso, but that's the nice big target, and pain enough to kind of hopefully get him to release.
It screeches out, and for a moment you think you hear a human voice muffled behind sinew and tissue. And then Alam and Savi, you also have a chance to act.
Alam's going to jump forward and grab the handgun that Uber was wielding, and then roll off to the side and basically take up a covering position.
Okay, yeah, you dive behind a nearby piece of stone. Savi, what have you got? I'm not screaming. I'm not screaming.
Is that a free action?
That's free action.
Yeah, I'm like, damn it, Lucian, you should have just stayed with us. And then I throw my serrated 8-inch knife at hopefully his face and see what I could do with that.
$5 for every time. That didn't happen to him.
I got a 4.
4. Oh, that's a success. So it's a D4 on the damage track.
I got a 2.
Nice. Describe how you tear apart this vat flesh monster.
I would imagine that I hear him say, maybe not, maybe it doesn't sound like this to everyone else, but I imagine that muffled voice says something to the effect of, "You're right, Savi," as the blade penetrates right between what would have been his eyes, and literally half of his head just kind of like splits and just shoves off to the side a bit, and the blade goes all the way straight through and lands in the wall behind him because it was a good shot. So.
You were right the whole time, and you've never done anything wrong in your whole life. Well, thanks, buddy.
And then he just kind of like melts back into the pot.
Yeah, he sort of flops back into the pot. Yeah. As you send the first one back down to whatever hellspawn it came from, you begin to realize that this was not the only one of its kind. You see 24 or so forms begin to pull themselves out of the vat slowly. Some of them are adult size and sort of bigger humanoid size. Others are smaller, more like children that pull themselves out. And all of them you hear from a cacophony of muted pleas for help as they move towards you. What do you guys do?
I'm going to run to grab my blade.
You pull it out of his face and he gives you
the wall.
affirmation.
It's in the wall.
Oh, yeah, you're right, yeah. I like the idea of him like, what are we doing? I totally understand why you had to do this.
If I remember correctly, last time there was a set of levers and buttons, right?
Yes, there is a control panel that Uber has been sort of playing with, yeah.
Okay, that is it. let's say it was where my knife was. If I'm over there, can I look at it and
say it were?
can I look at it and see if I can make hide nor hair of it?
Yeah. Give me a roll. So roll 34 and
Okay.
we'll see if
Nah.
no dice, I'm
Nope.
afraid. Umar sort of got it pretty quickly because he's a robot, so it's sort of second nature. But for you, there's a panic, there's a lot going on, and trying to figure out this is a lot.
And did we establish last time whether the door out of here was closed or barred or locked? I can't remember.
It had been locked at the end on you, so it's got like it's got like a control panel, so you can try and mess with that there.
Okay, I'll push a button. I am panicked. I want to get out of here. I'm just gonna whatever seems to make the most sense.
So slam your fist into the control panel to open the door, and it gives you like the error, and you realize that you don't have like authorization from this side, so someone on the outside has locked you out. You could
it's
try
locked from the outside, guys.
I look at Alam and the fuel that their generator was running off of. Didn't we grab some of that? A canister, I believe.
You could have done.
Yeah.
I don't super remember that, but if you do, I'll believe you.
I seem to recall
it was 7 days ago. I mean,
yes.
I've had a lot of
part of the interesting bit of being carried around was that there was this rather fissionable material next to me.
Yes.
Okay.
Well,
cool.
Excellent. So I've got this canister.
So just blow up a lamb. There we go.
Well, no, I look at Alam and I do you remember the firebombs from the refugee camp battles? I think those would come in handy.
Lamb's actually, I don't remember. I don't know what you're talking about.
Taking strips of cloth and knotting them up and leaving a length about like this, and a little bit of fuel on the knob end, light the tip, and I'd start tossing those at the flesh creatures.
All right, give me a roll here to see how many of these bad boys you can throw.
Yeah, it seems that he remembers from his before of throwing grenades, and it's almost the same muscle memory of and throwing, and that's 2 4s on that.
Excellent. So Arments begins to churn out these flaming devices out to these creatures, which is certainly slowing them down, but there are more of them pulling themselves out of the vats, it feels like, every minute. And while Arments is holding them back, you're going to need to find a way through this door. And Alam, you do have a chance to act here.
Well, Alam is going to take advantage of having a few influence points to spare, so he's going to burn one with the idea that we're in this maze of hot lava pools.
Or flesh. You can say it.
Flesh pools.
Flesh pools.
He's going to take the remains of the barrel, having grabbed one of Armand's fuses, and throw that into one of the pools. The idea being here that he's basically going to cause enough of an explosion that it opens up a channel between pools enough that we essentially get a barrier of molten flesh between us and the zombies.
Damn it, I was muted and I turned off my camera. We'll cut this all in post. What I said was I love the idea of a wall of molten flesh. So let's see if we can make that. Let's see if we can make that happen, Stefan. I believe in us.
One success.
That's one successful wall of molten flesh right there, my friend. With the success on that, Olam, describe this to us. What does this look like?
So we essentially start off with what I imagine is about to be a keg size, by now 2/3 full container of flammable liquid. Fuse into it, so essentially a really nice sized Molotov cocktail.
I like it.
Alan throws that into one of the flesh pools at the side, and the timing just works out so that as it goes in is when the blast hits, and there is just this splurge of molten flesh that, together with a crack in the floor that is forced apart by the explosion, just causes basically at first a small rivulet and then a stream of molten flesh to pour out from this essentially upstream pool across the entire floor to the other side.
Jesus, Stefan. You okay, man? Fuck, that was a lot. All right, I made up the molten flesh pills in the first place. Yes, one hell of a week.
I like the way your mind works.
What do you do to relieve stress? I just think about molten flesh balls. The normal stuff, yeah. Excellent. So with that happening, and I guess the only adverse effect being that the pools are also, spreading around you guys, this room is quickly becoming a place that you guys don't really want to be. And there seems like there's one way out from the door, but perhaps there are other exits around it you could find, or try and get through that door to escape the flesh pools. I'll hand it back, I guess, to Amends, who is a last one to have exited. So, Amends, you watch as a lamb just pulls off this pretty badass move. What do you want to do?
He's gonna he's gonna look at Savi and he's gonna look at Alam. Grab Ubar, get out of here. I'll be right behind you. Just go.
Savi looks back and says, "I'd love to. How?"
He's a little occupied making more flaming balls of death and
he may not even registered that that's a problem,
Yeah. But
the problem for him is in front of him.
As soon as Savi saw that the error message, and she knew that panel wasn't gonna just open up for her, she started looking around as much as she could to find any other way out, or even just another vent in the sky.
Yeah, give me a roll here.
I got 1-4.
Check. 1-4 is what you needed. Rather than looking up, your salvation lies at your feet. There's draining panels underneath your feet, which look like they lead down into tunnels down below. You have to pull off one of the metal rungs, but that seems like a viable alternative.
Okay, I want to find one that looks like it is definitely not going to have molten flesh running into it anytime soon, and try to yank it off. And as soon as it comes off, I'm going to look down, make sure there's not molten flesh right under us, and then say, "Let's go!" I found
just
a hole.
All moments really checking for molten flesh. it's very much how I live my life. Always got to be on the alert. Is there any error?
You never know.
Walk into a room, quick scan. Fantastic. It looks like it's clear, and Savvy jumps down to begin the descent. Alam, what about yourself? Amen seems to be sort of. You go ahead right now.
Yeah, Alam is going to not stand on ceremony, but just run over, grab Ubar underneath the armpits, essentially, and drag him backwards and try to swing him down and essentially hand him off to Savi, and then go down the hole himself.
Okay. The two of you are descending down. Arment is chucking Molotovs as fast as the flesh pools can create monsters, and they're pressing in on you despite your best efforts, and they are getting closer and closer. And you feel yourself needing to back up each time you take a throw.
And as soon as he's probably aware of Alam, I think, because of the time that they fought together. That's whose voice and movements he's keyed on. And as soon as he's aware of Alam lowering Ubar down the grate, that he's going to start backing up that way. He's going to switch from the Molotovs back to his energy weapon, and until he can get to the grate and drop down, and then try and pull that back over on top.
Okay, give me a roll to try and escape when you turn your back and try and get down.
Okay.
So you're Indiana Jonesing right now.
Oh, 1-4.
Nice. You managed to grab your hat on the way out as well.
Yeah.
As Ahmed dives away from the room, indeed, the room of molten flesh, and the group of you descend down into the darkness of Nibiru and the tunnels underneath whatever room that was right there. Right now, it leads directly downwards for a couple of minutes, and then it stops, and you can get off the rung of the ladder, basically, and you find yourself in a tunnel.
Is Ubar moving on his own at all?
No, he appears to be completely inanimate right now. You've seen him like power down before, but low power mode is different from this. He's in like safe boot mode. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You haven't seen him this way before.
Can we see? Is there a light down here?
There's a little bit of light from little electric strips above, but you probably want head visor lights on and stuff like that down here, or a flashlight at least.
And it goes left and right?
It does, yeah. Judging just based on the way that you came down, if you went down the left-hand side of the tunnel, you'd be continuing along the same path that you were on before, just underground.
Okay. And does anybody remember? I know that we were trying to go north. Were we headed north at the time, or were we going around something? Okay.
Yeah, I believe you were, yeah.
Okay. So I will say this appears to be north, which is what he said we should be doing. So guess we have to go this way. Is there anything we can do to help him?
Not that I know of. It's not in my wheelhouse.
Ugh.
I have no skills with this.
I'm pretty good with animals, but I don't know about robots. Guess we carry him?
Well, I remember Sanada saying one time he was like this. And, I mean, she couldn't move him herself. You know, she couldn't just drag him or pick him up and carry him. She said there's a little switch on each one of the backs of his feet that pops out a little wheel. Apparently they use this with the machines when they have to transport them. It makes it easier instead of having to lug them around. That way they can just kind of pull them or drag them. So
Yeah, we can put them in neutral. I get it.
yeah. So Amit's just gonna look around for the little switch to pop out the little wheel so that it's easier to drag them behind us.
Ubar goes into golf cart mode. Yeah.
He's a dolly.
All right, I'm going to
This
start.
that should make things a little easier. Yeah.
Start to head left.
Okay. So it's Savi in leads. Ahmed's next, or I'm not Amal. Alam.
Adam.
You're muted, Claire.
Alam might just be dragging up the rear just because he's dragging Ubar.
That's true. Yeah. Cool. It's no reason I ever want to know your marching order, and I want you to know that I'm telling you the truth when I say that. Okay, so Savvy is attacked by a horrific monster. So, voice in your head's telling you to not be there anymore. Yeah. So you guys continue down the tunnel for some time until it breaks away and diverges into a eastern, a western, and a northern branch to follow. Each of these tunnels have a quite strange aura about them. They are all lit with almost neon bright lights. They're sort of like light greens and blues, and they have a sort of dull glow to them, which strikes you as quite strange.
Can I look around a little bit and do some investigating and see if I can find any tracks down, going down either hall, or like handprints on the wall in the moss or anything like that?
Yeah, absolutely. Let's have a roll.
Ugh. Oh, no.
If anyone else has been here recently, you're not too sure.
Okay.
You don't think so.
Yeah, I'm still pretty shaken up. So.
Yeah.
Would we know anything about areas that are lit up like this? What separates them out?
That they have large working power sources is probably the main takeaway there. And sometimes creatures that love energy like that will be drawn to areas like this. It's certainly unusual to see something in this sort of good condition.
Right. And usually areas that have large working power sources have settlements of some kind, even if they're just semi-permanent way stations. You don't... It seems like Amit's time in the machine, you don't waste power. Power does not go to waste. So when the peoples find places like this, they settle. So the fact that there's no people here means something else. Either it's been lost to memory, or something scary controls the area. So I think he's going to talk that through out loud. So no people, lots of power.
I would say that the something scary part is probably what we're working with here, based on what we've seen so far. So this is fun. This is all very
I'm
fun.
impressed, Savi. You didn't say scarier.
I'm trying really hard to be brave, guys. You know how sometimes you can tell, like if you look at a bunch of cables and stuff that are tied up, you can tell which direction they came from and which direction they're going to. Can we see cables like that and tell which direction they came from and which ones they're going to? Like essentially if they're coming from a source.
Yeah, the power source seems to be down the north tunnel.
Okay. Well, guys, it looks like they're coming from the north, which is where he originally said we needed to go anyways. But they're headed these directions, which is where, if they end down there, that might be where a settlement or a scary thing is.
Or the guard posts or the outlying processing centers or something. I think we need the core.
The core. And we should go that way.
Lead on.
Okay. I'll keep walking.
When did I become the group leader?
Right?
Yeah. I mean, you could drag
Nervous
Ubar
signing
if you
up for
want. Bring up the rear.
Alam is just going to turn to Uber as he's dragging him, and sort of in the way that you would speak to an elderly relative that might not always quite be there. He's turning and saying, "Yes, we're going north, Ubar. We're going to where you should be."
Ubar seems sort of literally dead behind the eyes. There's nothing switching on. It's quite worrying, but maybe that's what he does when he's had a bit of a tumble. Maybe he needs to get back to a power station or something.
Or once we find Sanada, she'll know what to do with him.
This is likely true. Speaking of, as you head down the northern tunnel, you do notice there is this ragged patch of clothing, which looks like maybe it was once the arm sleeve of a jacket, and it's the same identical one that you've seen Sanada wear, a million times. That's almost certainly her piece of clothing.
Amits is going to retrieve it and kind of tuck it as best he can into somewhere on Ubar, whether it's like into a clenched fist or into a pocket or something. Could throw a strap, tie it around a strap or something like that, but he's going to take it and he goes, "We're on the right track. We're finding her. We're going to find her." Is there anything else? Does it look like this was torn?
It does
purposely,
yes.
Or does it look like it was like ripped off by a claw or something?
It looks more like it's been ripped off, yes, by something. It's sort of claw marks for it, or what could be knife marks, I suppose, as well. And there is blood on it, and the blood is relatively recent.
Is there a trail of blood around there, or is it just blood on the sleeve?
There's like a little bit, but there's not enough blood to really
Nothing
form
to follow.
like a blood trail. Yeah,
Yeah.
you could be bleeding quite a lot for that.
Well, it doesn't look like she was bleeding
as I
out,
found.
guys. Yay.
Hopefully. Let's keep going. Amits is not the
Some people don't turn to
optimistic
jokes
sort.
in
Yeah.
high stress situations.
Amits is the guy who looks at a half full glass of water and says, "Somebody's been drinking out of your water glass."
Savi gets a little incensed and kind of mumbles under her breath, and she's like, "Or you could have just eaten her in one bite, but whatever, we'll figure it out, I guess. Let's go." He just keeps walking.
Whereas Alan is there going, "If there's one water glass, there has to be several more. Where are they?" Just jumping at every skitter.
Fantastic. As the group of you then proceed, you see that the tunnel comes to a certain stop, not much too far ahead, and that it leads to a ladder headed upwards again. And that's sort of where the tunnel ends. Looks like there's only one way to proceed. But who would like to be the first to ascend the ladder of doom? Sorry, just the ladder. Just a normal ladder.
Are the cables going up too?
The cables are running up too, yeah.
Okay. Hey guys, look, it's a ladder that someone can climb. And I take a step back.
If somebody goes up, I can hand.
Oh, we can just we'll just tie a rope around him and hand over hand pull him up after we're done.
Better.
Yep. So
Yeah. If something attacks us the second we get up there, we don't want to be carrying a giant robot body with us. So it's probably best if we check it out first.
oh well, we'll bring the robot body up last. That way,
You can winch him up later.
Yeah.
The third one is winching him up. Exactly.
Make sure the coast is clear.
It's unstraps.
Alan is looking at Ubar with that sort of. I wonder how quickly we can dismantle him into 4 or 5 energy prods. Kind of look.
I mean, if you want to give that a roll, we could definitely turn Ubar into. He's like got multi-function modes.
Not quite that desperate yet.
I mean, you could like pack Ubar down into a different, machine, and then like repack him out feasibly.
It's like Legos.
Yeah, he's like Legos. Yeah, exactly.
And there's always those 3 extra connectors missing at the end.
Yep.
Right, and when you tread on him, it hurts. So yeah, yeah, that's something you could do, or you just leave him down there.
He's gonna let Alam look him over while Amit's is gonna he's got his pistol and his energy weapon in one hand as he's climbing up this ladder till he can get to find the top.
Okay. Ahmed, give me a check as you get up here.
Oh, nope. I see nothing.
Oh God. So as you pull your way up the ladder, you sort of come to a hatch, push it open, and it unseals. You can't hear anything in the room, and all you can see is the ceiling of a room.
If he can't hear anything, because what he would be listening for is like breathing or something like that. If he can't hear anything, he's going to go ahead and flick the headlamp on. So he's got just like this part of his head up through the thing with the thing up as he's scanning around the room, using the headlamp to see what he can see.
Something skitters away into the darkness. It felt like it was big, but you just miss it, and it has disappeared away behind a pillar and out into another corridor. It seems as though this room is largely empty, aside from what look to be several medical tables and beds, which are stained with a dark red blood, which is now sort of turning brown, I suppose, and black. And the cables still run through this room as well, and indeed seem to be sort of powering this whole place.
All right.
It feels like a hospital room.
So he's going to go ahead and just kind of, with the hatch lid, just kind of let it go flat, that clang, pull himself up, and all right, next, be careful. And he's just going to keep watch.
Savi will climb the ladder reluctantly.
And we'll have fashioned a rope or a sling of some kind, so that we can climb up, and then all 3 of them can basically haul up on Ubar, or the whatever the Ubar suitcase mode is.
Yeah, he's definitely got a luggage mode for when he has to go for an airport, that sort of thing. Not that there are any airports here, but yeah. So yeah, you bring him up. It takes a little while to lug him all the way up there, of course, and you're probably sweating by the time that you do finally get up and meet with Ahmed into this sort of strange, sickly feeling old hospital room. To us, I suppose it would look old. To you, it may look sort of very high tech, very sci-fi. And Amens, I think, is probably still checking around the perimeter to see if whatever that big thing that was here is still here. And so far, he hasn't found anything.
The skittering. Yeah, he would have mentioned the skittering sound that he heard. Told them to stay alert for that.
Yeah, and once he told me that, I'm going to start looking around for any evidence of what it might be. Not footprints, but skitter prints and poops and little nibbles out of stuff.
Skitter prints and poops. Today's episode title. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Give me a roll for a spot check. Yeah.
I got a 4.
Nice. So yeah, you see sort of old claw marks in the ground. Some are more recent. They're big like the claw marks that tore through all those people outside of Mutaku.
It's big, guys. It's big. It's not good. Not good. No. It'll kill us.
Well, why don't you guys see what supplies we can find here? And I think Amit's just gonna literally find a wall and walk around the wall, marking doors and that kind of thing.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'll start looking through whatever is there.
Yeah. Okay. So you guys are sort of rummaging around. You hear footsteps approaching from outside one of the doors that Aments was sort of just checking. They seem to be coming quite swiftly in a clipped pace towards you.
I say, guys, footprints, lights out. And I turn my light off.
Okay. You guys go quiet and wait, maybe trying to hide somewhere so you're not seen. And you hear the door open and a man step inside. From your hiding positions, you can see that he's wearing a white but stained red several places across it. It hasn't been like cleaned and starched. Lab coat. He's old, stooped, and appears to be inspecting a clipboard with information on it. And he looks around and tuts a couple of times before going back to looking at this clipboard and over to a desk to sit down and begin writing.
I want to take the headlamp, get it as bright as I can, find the brightest setting, and then flick it on with it pointed straight into his eyes to kind of temporarily blind him and approach him, keeping that light directly into his eyes. He
kind of shouts in pain and holds up a hand to try and
Quiet. There's something skittering around here. You don't want to attract their attention. You're the one in the light. Who are you?
He sort of gets his eyes into a place where he can have some amount of comfort to be able to speak. Says, I'm Dr. Hurtner. Who are you?
I'm someone who's looking for a friend of mine who was taken.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Have you seen a woman? And I describe Sanada.
Maybe she had a cut on her arm. Yes, a wound.
Was there someone with her?
Yes, I believe Davron has her.
Oh, so you know Davron?
Yes, he works here as well.
Really? Where is she?
Listen, if you turn back now, they won't arrest you and then kill you. Turn back, and I'm sure I won't tell anyone. I promise.
Tell Devron
You
to
could
release
walk
my
away
friend.
with your lives.
Oh, I'm not leaving without her.
I'm afraid if I know Davron, he's not going to let you just walk out with his latest prize.
She's not a prize. She's my friend.
To a monster like him, I beg to differ.
Well, I tell you what, how about this? How about you convince him to leave, let go of his prize, and let us leave? Or you lose your life.
Right about this time, I've snuck up behind him, and I've got my blade at the base of his neck, so he knows, A, he's not alone, and we could end him at any second.
Yeah. Yeah. Winces for a moment as he feels the cool blade at the base of his neck, and then says, I'm already as good as dead. Please, would you lower that light?
No. You were responsible for the vats of flesh goo.
What are you talking about?
A couple of tunnels over. Bubbling vats of flesh. People crawling out of them.
In area LK? I have not... Is that what you're talking about? Have you been to Davron's workshop?
Oh, is that what that is? Well, Devron's workshop is now fully engulfed in flames, I'm sure.
So, what do you mean, flesh? Vats? It's a restricted area. None of the rest of us can go in there.
We followed one of Davron's old comrades. He led us there. And then he fell into one of the little vats. Wasn't very nice end for him.
I'm not sure what's going on. This is a hospital, and I'm sure whatever you're talking about is something you've imagined. Now, I don't want any trouble. I'll help you however I can. I will take you to Davron and try and convince him to let go of his patient, but...
How about you bring Davron and his patient to us? And by the way, how injured is Alam still?
Well, he's just beaten down at the moment. He's basically
just life's getting to him, really. You know, it's just a modern life is just really getting to Alam right now.
So he doesn't really. Does he need medical treatment to, or is it something that's going to just?
He certainly could do with some medical treatment. I think.
Yeah. There's definitely the limp and so forth is probably more pronounced than when you first saw him.
Well, I'll tell you what. Why don't you take care of my friend here? Then you can go get Davron and bring him and his prize back to us.
You trust me to go on my own?
No. I'm going to go with you. But we're not all going to go with you.
Okay. I agree. Let me see what is wrong, but first I must see.
I'll wait till Alums lets me know that he's in a position, and then I'll take the light out of his eyes and do the whole lower headlamp thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he starts to look at Alum and says, "Really, everything you were saying about this Davron fellow is quite disturbing."
I suppose disturbing is one word for it. Horrifying.
So what can he
Disgusting,
do?
twisted.
What can he do, this monster? He sounds powerful.
You're the one working with him.
It seems that I do not know him as well as I thought that I did. And in honesty, I did not think I knew him very well at all.
What is it that you're doing here? What is it he's doing here?
I'm a doctor. And it seems like his secret project is very troubling indeed. No doubt it will be shut down, if it's true.
Well, where are your patients? Who are your patients? How many of there are you? Where is your settlement?
Well, there has been a disease and an infection, a plague, not far from here, of the north, and we've been getting refugees ever since. But I'm afraid, as you can see around me, not all of them made it.
Did any of them make it?
Investigations are ongoing. We will find a
How
cure.
do I insight check this
Whatever it
guy?
takes. Yeah.
How do I insight check this guy? There's something really weird about.
Give it a roll, and if he's lying, he'll contest a roll.
Okay. Oh, no 4s. A 3, 2, and a 3.
Yep. Makes sense. Sometimes there are outbreaks and plagues and pop-up hospitals are a thing in the underworlds, because permanent locations are few and far between. But also, you're not totally sure that he's not lying.
Yeah.
I mean, it certainly seems like there are a few suspicious things going on here.
Savi, you know anything about this?
No, I don't think I know anything about it. I've still kind of got my blade up against the back of his neck, so I'm gonna ask him from behind, kind of quietly, why do you keep calling her his patient? What is he doing with her?
Well, I suspect that he believed that she was infected, and that's why I thought he had taken her against her wishes. If she was gone mad with the disease, as many of these patients do, then that's why I didn't act to stop him.
Didn't he tell
What
us
happens-
he was going to eat her? Out of game
I
conversation.
think so. Yeah,
That's
I think so.
what I thought, Yeah.
Yeah, because then I keep forgetting Robot Drake's
Ubar.
name.
Ubar.
I think because then he made
Drake.
some sort of quip back about like eating him and how it wouldn't be tasty or something. I don't know.
There may have been a little tete-a-tete. Me and Drake have a lot of spark when we work together, and it inevitably comes out.
I'm gonna ask what happens to the bodies when they don't survive. What do you do
They're
with them?
recycled.
What does that mean?
That means that they are repurposed after they are gone.
Are they repurposed into flesh demons? Because I feel like that's where he's been getting his test subjects.
Oh. Well, I hadn't thought of that. That has grave implications.
You say you don't know these things, and then you start talking about them like you do know these things.
I understand that this is what happens to the bodies. I don't oversee it myself. I'm a very busy doctor.
Can I insight check him?
Sure.
Okay.
Savi's gonna, Amos is gonna leave this guy in Savi's tender care along and start barring doors.
He's if he's a liar, he's a very good liar.
Jeez, man. I hate this guy.
So, once he finishes fixing up a lamb, what is your plan once you face off against this Daveron? I see you have weapons, but if he is as horrific as you described him, then surely you must have a plan. I don't want to betray Daveron, and then once you are slaughtered, I am too. I want to be on the winning side. I'm sure that's true, but still, I'd rather be patching you up rather than scraping up your dead bodies to be recycled. So
then tell us, what's his weakness? What can we do? What do you suggest? Since you know him so well. Or don't. I don't know. You don't seem to know either.
Well, I'm not sure what I do. I'm not much of a fighter. But maybe there is some trap you can set for him. I suppose that's the idea here, but
Yes, why
going
don't
to
you
need more than
contact
one
him?
good shot.
Why don't you contact him? Tell them that you need to examine his prize and to bring her here to you. You can do that, can't you?
I suppose, but whether
I
or not he
suppose you
listens.
can. Well, don't you need to examine his prize to make sure that the plague is not progressing?
I suppose.
You suppose
All right.
a lot of
Listen.
things, don't you?
It's pretty simple, man. You can do
It's
what
a
we're asking you to do.
high-stress situation.
No, you can do what we're asking you to do, and you can play dumb. And if he figures you out, he'll kill you. But if you play dumb enough, he won't, and everything will be fine, and we'll kill him, and we'll let you go. Or he'll kill us. He won't kill you. Maybe he'll kill all of us. Either way, we're on your side as long as you do what we tell you to, and you do it sneaky-like. Yeah.
I understood around 10% of what she just said.
Yeah. Either
But-
her blade goes into the back of your neck, or
I got
Davron's
it.
going to.
I understand. Yes, he moves
You
to
don't
his,
help us, they're gonna die, is what I was getting at.
That is now clear to me. Yes. He moves to his radio, and you hear a crackle on it, and he says, Mr. Daveron, I wanted to check on the most recent patient that you've brought in and her current progress on the plague, if any. I'm hoping that this test subject is a good one, and that's all. Over. And there's a response which he receives, and it is just a low growl on the other end. And he's what do I? It sounds like an animal.
I'm gonna I've got the thing like pushed a little bit harder up into his neck, and I say, dude, don't fuck this up. You're fucking it up right now.
What do I say?
Tell him to bring her here so that you can examine her for plague. And that's it.
If you could bring her here so that I could examine her for signs of the plague, I think I saw a lesion on her arm where the wound was. If you could bring her over straight away, please. Thank you. And I think that is good.
I think that's good.
Let's see if he comes.
Yes, we will. And I guess we'll wait a little bit. Maybe find hiding places and
Yeah.
So that when Davron comes, the doctor's the one that has to open the door and let him in.
Meanwhile,
Okay.
my thanks. I do feel a lot better, and I think we should be ready for the slicer. That's going to be more of a challenge, I suspect, than Davron.
I suspect so as well. If there's a slicer involved, then you'll all be killed.
Well, he either is the slicer or he controls the slicer, so one of the two.
I suppose then it would answer his call.
Yeah. Although he did mention being the one that wanted to eat our friend himself.
Well,
yeah, have you
maybe
ever
he
seen him
feasts.
eat someone?
Maybe he feasts on the flesh of his patients.
Doctor, did anything about that statement that you just made strike you as wrong?
He grins a toothy grin, and you watch as his face begins to melt away into molten flesh, and
I
it
stabbed my
reforms.
thing into his neck.
It reforms into the face of Daveron, who grins as behind you the door bursts open and a slicer floats into the room. This huge, gelatinous-like jellyfish creature with scythe blade tusks and blades across its many, many arms. And
Well, it's been a pleasure knowing you.
And that's all we got time for. Kidding. And so let us roll
Maybe a
some
true
initiative.
cliffhanger.
So yeah, give us a roll here, and we'll see if you can act it before or after Navarone and.
What are we rolling? Is it?
Sorry, 3d4.
Two
Did I say?
fours. Yeah.
Beautiful.
Holy
Five,
crap,
two,
guys.
fours. Oh wow.
Holy mackerel. Okay, so all of you guys are so fucking on edge already. As soon as something happens, you're like, fucking go.
Yep.
So, in any order, but all three of you get to act before Daveron and the Slicer get an action. You guys quickly.
Well, I was already had my shoving into the base of his skull. Hopefully, if I miss, it's because I'm shaking
true,
with
yeah.
fear. Yeah,
Give me
alright.
the
Oh wait,
give me the
I
roll
rolled
because
rolled way off the page. Sorry. See how nervous I am. I got 1-4.
Okay, great. So roll me damage and
It's 1-4, right?
Yeah, 1-4 on the damage.
4.
Oof. And that's a nice hit. Yeah. You stab it through the base of his neck and plunge it down into where his mouth would be, I suppose, and out through the other side. And as it sort of like punctures through the back of his mouth and through his tongue, you feel his arms begin to ripple out and grow with muscle. And his head still begins to move and contort back into his own. It doesn't appear like this has killed him, but it certainly can't hurt.
Okay.
Alum and Arments, you've got a Slicer before you and Daveron sort of to your back at this point, I suppose.
I think Ahmed's would have turned towards the door noise because that's what he was kind of listening for. So he'd have turned around, and as soon as he saw that thing, he'd have fired with his energy weapon.
Alrighty, let's see it.
There's 1-4 in there. 3 points.
Beautiful. All right. And that was into Daveron?
No, that is into the slicer that came into the door.
Okay. Excellent. All
'Cause
right.
that's where he was expecting Davron to come from. So
Yeah. Excellent. And Alum. What's you up to?
Alam is going to take his energy staff and fire into the slicer. But as he's doing so, he's drifting back into one of the moments where he's basically getting surrounded by a growing mound of call them dire rats for sake of
Right.
something. But he's sort of he's shifting his memory backwards and forwards between that and reality. So he'll start off with a memory roll, hoping to fail. Good. So he's not quite sure what's going on.
When your memory fails you.
Exactly. And then he will just therefore completely miss. Because he's basically gibbering at this point.
That's never a good thing to be doing in any context. Comes off strange. So yeah, Alam, as I learned to my peril before. Yeah, Alam, you're trying to get it to work here, but it just isn't. Daveron, with the blade through the back of his neck, turns round to try and sort of like shunt Savvy in the nose, and is going to try and make an attack roll. And I can turn GM rolls off. That's what I can do. And so he misses with a 3-1 and a 1 to sort of bust out your nose to try and move you out of position. The slicer, meanwhile, has other things on its mind, specifically food in the form of arments, and it moves towards you with these big, shocking, tentacles and blades on them, using, it seems, the energy of the cables and the power running throughout this entire place, feasting off of it. And now, on you! And I'm going to roll a d4 for the hit. Okay. Luckily for you, it's one track. That could have been worse.
Yeah, so
that could have been
that takes me from okay to beat.
One point of armor, essentially.
Oh, that's
right.
right.
Yes. Yeah, you're wearing armor, so that's actually not good enough, yeah. Right you are. Okay, well, in that case, it is back to the team who have successfully evaded death, but I will say it's only a d4 away, so what do you guys want to do?
Well, as he kind of tried to twist to hit me in the nose, I tried to hold on to my blade so that as he's turning, I'm ripping. So I am attempting to slice his skull open.
Like a pumpkin.
And I didn't. The blade slipped out of my hand. It's just flailing in the back of his skull.
Flopping around back there. Okay, Savi is struggling. Ahmed's, so are you a little bit. So thus far, you've avoided death.
Yeah. He's up close with this thing again. Like Alam, his memories are all over the place. Combat, whether from his life since he awoke or from his memories, is all starting to kind of run together and bleed together. And yeah, like Alam, he's going to make a memory roll to try and see if he's. What is he? Is he fighting his memories, or is he fighting for real? Oh, and that's a fail. So he doesn't know. At this point, I think he's just fighting for his life. So he's going to step into the creature, with the tentacles and slicers, he knows when you're fighting something that's got a longer reach than you do, you step into it, you get in close. So he's going to step into it, put the muzzle of the energy weapon up against the creature and pull the trigger. Oh, and that's a 4 for an success.
Oof.
For 2 points.
Okay, 2 more points. These things are nice and heavily armored, though. Okay. Alan, what do you got for us?
Meanwhile, is somewhat changing tactics in that he's going to pull out the charging wire of the his energy stick and essentially plug it into Ubar. Try and supercharge what he has.
I like it. Give me those dice.
He's not going to fire at the slicer. He's going to fire at the roof above the slicer in the hope of basically causing the cave-in effect.
Oh, interesting. Okay, give me a roll for the Ubar stuff, because that's cool.
1 success.
Nice. You see Ubar's eyes light up, the most bright you've ever seen them, and he starts to whir and says, "Cleaning must be completed immediately," and moves towards Daveron to attack. And Alam, give me that roll for trying to cave in the ceiling here.
Just 1 success.
Okay, and give me a damage roll as well. Let's see how bad that goes. Okay. It's good, not great. You're certainly weakening the structure, but it's going to take a little while to really burst your way through. Meanwhile, I'll roll for Ubar on his attacks. This is a double success for only 1 point of damage on Daveron. He just starts hacking away at him, this monstrosity of a man. And things, I believe, swing back over to our enemies. So start off with Daveron, who, seeing his new opponent, moves to grab him with incredibly strong arms. But Ubar manages to duck away. He's just doing his cleaning routine right now. Meanwhile, the slicer moves in to finish its prey in Amence. And Amence. Oof. What's a hit for a 4? Down to a 3. So 3 tracks is badly wounded. Or seriously injured?
Badly wounded.
Badly wounded.
Yeah, I think there's only 3 tracks. Hold on, just...
Oh, well, damn, I thought it was 4. I was like, only 3 is bad. 3 is not too bad.
So I'm trying to get this where I can see it.
That's all good. We'll know shortly whether or not Amance is still with us. Oh, but he has a diagram. I couldn't actually see how many there were there, I'm afraid.
Yeah, it's got a diagram, but it doesn't have them labeled.
If I knew what a track was, I could tell you. It has 4 little body sections and 4 little mind sections, if that helps.
See, I thought there was 4 as well. Maybe it's the first track is uninjured, and then it's lightly wounded, then it's badly wounded, and then it's dead.
Dead, yep.
So you've gone down 3, which is essentially death.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not yeah, I'm not.
I was like, oh man, I was like, I thought there was total of 4, but it's kind of like a total of 3 because you're always at 0.
You might have memory or influence points that you can spend to influence the scene.
Ooh.
Okay.
And also, don't forget that you've got your
Nightmare.
Your nightmare.
Yeah,
is
your
still
nightmare.
out.
Yeah.
You could spend an influence point to make me re-roll the d4. I'd let you do that on a damage.
I think what he would do is, because I think I've got 3 influence points to go ahead, and I think his seeing this thing coming at him, knowing it's almost certain death, I think he'd give in to the nightmares and let his nightmares come out. And I think it would just be help me, would be the only thing that he would say, because that's where he finds his strength sometimes, even though it hurts him, is in the dark memories.
Yeah.
So he would do that. He would ask for the nightmare to come and help him.
Yeah. You feel then for a moment as you just let that nightmare overtake you, that you can see yourself from a distance, and it's one of those dreams where you keep trying to move, but you just can't move, and you can see the slicer's blade coming in towards you, and you just can't quite move. And then when you give in to that nightmare, you feel yourself just for a moment duck underneath the blade, using that influence to avoid the doom.
And the nightmare doesn't come out because I rolled a 1. The nightmare, feeling disturbed, scratches and gnaws the insides of the vagabond. Go down 1 body step. Ahmed's drops.
Oh no, not down another body step. So Ahmed's unable to withstand the power of the nightmare, evades the blow from the slicer, but nonetheless falls to the ground, both mentally and physically exhausted. Okay, back to the team. You guys, and Ubar's on here now as well. So, Savi, you watch as Ahmed falls down to the ground. You fear the worst.
Yeah. But I have this asshole in front of me trying to murder me, so I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to do about that at the moment. So I am...
that seems pressing, yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to try to grab my blade out one more time, and I want to go for the neck. Go for the neck.
Go for that neck. Dang.
No!
Yep. Shit. Adam. Shit.
Will's like, I guess I'm gonna kill them all today.
They're all gonna die.
What a great way to end the show.
Oh my goodness. Alam, it is your turn, my friend, and I'm worried about you.
Alam, being of completely sane mind and body, well, sane body at any rate, is having flashbacks to essentially a World War I-esque trench situation with mechanical death machines coming over through the fog and the mud and so forth, and the corporal blowing the whistle, and the signal is up and over and charge. He's going to go for a memory roll and see if he remembers anything about it. Fortunately not.
Damn.
I say fortunately because, being of the Dreadlands, we go down a body step if it happened.
Best to repress all that, yeah.
Yeah. But still not being quite sure where he is, he's just going to charge over and bayonet-wise, but of course it's electrical, stab the slicer. Well, or poke somewhere in its general vicinity.
This thing is pretty big and shit. Okay, Ubar's gonna try and fight Daveron. Looking for some 4s here, my friends. No 4s. Oh, this is a tough situation right here. I remember now. Now I remember reading a paragraph in Nibiru RPG which said combat is incredibly deadly, and now that's coming back to me right at this moment. So I think that's all of you have acted. Oh, Amens, you actually didn't go down, correct? We just did the math behind the
right. That is
screen.
That is correct. He's he is
Amens
badly wounded.
If you were previously staggered or beaten down, but if you weren't beaten down, if you were at normal previously, you would just have gone to beaten down.
And he was beaten down before because of.
But that was last week, and beaten down you recover at the end of the scene.
Okay, so then yes, he was not even badly wounded. He would just be beaten down. Okay,
Yeah.
but he is, however, mentally shaken.
Nobody panic. I
Yeah.
have this under control.
It's all good. It's all good.
It's all good.
We're all alive. Okay, so Amens, is it your action to do what you did, or do you still would you still have an action to do something?
He would. I still have an action, however, because he's gone down mentally to shaken. It's a 1 die penalty to all actions.
Oof. Okay.
Yeah. So this is going to be good.
Sucks. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, in attacking the he is. I mean, he looks like he went down. He's laying there. He thought he was dead, and he manages to get up, but he's not. He's kind of reeling mentally, which makes him look like he's reeling physically, and he's just going to try and put all he knows is that there's a target trying to kill him, so he's going to put his hand up like this against the slicer's body and just pull the trigger.
See it.
No, nothing.
Total of 4. Oh
Yeah.
no! This is just a series of.
Are you
rolls.
sure we can't use like multiples of 4 and
right.
things like
Divisible
that?
by.
Like, yeah, totals of 4 and
Right. If
Yeah.
it just looks a bit like a 4.
yeah. I feel like that's probably acceptable in the rules.
Yeah, that's okay. Daveron's gonna try and strike at Uber, and succeeds for 1 point. Down Ubar's track. Ubar's
But
looking a
also has
little.
weapon.
Yeah.
Ubar
He's
does
looking
have
like a
armor as
little.
well.
He's got like a little dented can look about him right now, but that's all. Meanwhile, the slicer's still trying to eat you, Amens. And oh damn it, succeeded. Time for a D4. Are we feeling lucky, ladies and gentlemen? I know that I'm feeling like I'm rolling quite well today, so let's. That's
Okay, so now he's dead.
All right. Well, this game may end a little earlier than I anticipated.
I'm going to throw an influence point
Okay.
as an intercept, and given the bond, the battle bond between Armand and Alan, he's going to sense the incoming blow,
Mr. Frodo, no.
and using his electrosoft, basically do the equivalent of the shielding kind of thing.
You know, like chuck your body in front.
Our
Pretty
protective
much,
movement.
or more
Yeah.
importantly, the if everything goes really well, the staff in front
Okay.
to avoid
Okay,
himself
so-
getting caught with 4. But we'll see what the dice say.
Yeah, let's see what I say. That's good.
Two
That's
successes.
2 successes and he had 1 success. So you spend an influence point, jump in front, block with a staff, and the creature hisses back at you. Okay, back to the squad. Roll alive. Have a good time.
I've spent my action.
Okay, so Armens and Savi, you still you both have a chance to do something here. Both the creature and Dameron are looking pretty in a bad shape right now, like molten flesh becoming more molten than flesh. If you know what I mean?
Yeah, since Dameron is going after Robo Drake. What's his name? Ubar.
It's just an auto tune.
It's not on the screen anymore, so I can't remember.
I know, yeah, no, it's okay. I forget people too when they're not here.
The brave little toaster. Just call him the brave little toaster.
Okay.
It was that guy who was here a couple of times.
I remember his real name. Yeah, so since he went after him, I'm once again gonna...
He's gonna watch this back.
I kind of like Robo Drake, though.
Robo Drake, yeah. I mean, it's easier to remember.
He's gonna change his Twitter handle for that. Yeah.
Well, while Davros is after him, I am gonna once again go for the back of his neck and try to hit him this time.
All about the back of the neck.
What is
That's the exact same roll as last time. You rolled 3 2s twice in a row.
I should get a 4 for that.
You've rolled a 2 6 times in a row.
Oh my god.
It's close, and yet it's so very far.
Okay.
Yeah, there it is.
Let's take a few steps back. I swing
You're starting
wildly.
to think. You're starting to think that the next strategy is doomed.
His neck is too skinny.
Just one strength, superpower. This is the world's strongest fucking neck.
All right.
Oh
Next time
God.
I'm going for the ass.
All right.
So Amits is going to look at a
It
lot.
was too easy. I'm not going to take that one.
Yeah.
Watch that ball just fly on by.
Yeah, sometimes it's best just to let it go.
Let the softballs go. Yeah.
Amits
Speaking of
is
which,
going to look at Alam and kind of look at the stick that just is all times, just like all times, friend. And with just got to try again with that energy weapon.
it's got to work sooner or later,
No, it doesn't.
right?
But, nope.
Right, math? You've never let me down before. Oh wait.
Click, click, click.
What
I
about
think-
all
I
those
think
times?
Yeah, I think his weapon is out of juice at this point.
Yeah.
He just kind of throws it and throws it and is getting ready to pull his blade to try that the next time.
Okay. Uber attacks. Gets a 4. 3 damage. Alright. This is where we have our breakthrough, and Drake has saved us. Here from wherever in the world he is right now. As he Ubar dead set on cleaning this entire room and cleansing it, indeed, of anything that oughtn't to be here, any monstrosities. Between the two of you, Savi, he sort of like stabs him through the neck on one side, and you stab him through the neck at the back. And for one beautiful moment, your blades touch, and then he's dead, and the moment's gone. But there's a little twinkle in Ubar's eye. No, I'm kidding. That's just the mean in me. But the Slicer, meanwhile, is very much enjoying Ahmed's laser pistol not working. And so far, this guy's just been killing it. He's just been rolling 4s like no tomorrow. So he's on a roll. And I threw them all the way outside of the roller. Let's see. That's a 4. Okay. Nobody panic. There are 4 possibilities here. Only 3 of them are bad. So that's
only 2 of them.
only 2 of them are bad. Flip a coin. What could go wrong?
He's beaten down, so
Hey, it's only 2 anyway.
armor takes 1, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
So
puts him
goes
to
to
badly wounded.
Yep.
Yep. So he's badly wounded.
Just one step away from death. And really, one step is all it takes. So back to you guys. So Arments, this creature is like, you're this thing's the alien. It's all up in your face right now, and you've got the laser pistol that isn't working, and you're drawing the blade out from the side.
And being as close as he is to this thing, he's looking for a gap, and it's if it has the chitinous armor plates or exoskeleton. He's looking for a gap. He's looking for a place that he can slide that in, and that's 2 4s.
Oh, that's what we needed.
That counts essentially.
I think that may be a crit, seeing as you're only rolling a 2 dice.
Yeah,
Let's let it be a crit because it's an awesome moment.
He's up close. And he sees that crack, that space, that opening, and it's natural body armor. He puts the tip against it and just pushes.
Nice. It screeches as it dies, and you hear Daveron shouting, "No! No!" as the creature sort of like wetly flops around on the ground with buzzes of electricity running, coursing through its body, flushing a variety of colors, iridescent, until finally it falls to the ground lifeless and colorless. But you still have the small problem, I suppose, of just potential other molten flesh existing in this place. But as of right now, as the creature falls to the ground, all that you're concerned about is Sanada still.
I want to loot the hell out of Davron, whatever his name is. His name's not on the screen either.
That's true. Basically doesn't exist. But can you only understand things that you can read? I mean,
I have really bad short-term memory, okay?
And I'm
Davron, I wrote it down. See?
Pull himself up and look at Ubar and go, Sanada is here somewhere. And I think he's just going to start walking down the hallway looking for her.
All right.
Did Davron have anything cool?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah. Don't worry, we don't even know about it. Yeah. Davron's got, first of all, he's got his like radio that he was using to communicate with you guys before. He also has what looks to be like a key card to getting around this place that undoubtedly would come in handy.
Cool. I grab that stuff and catch up with Immense, and I'm like, look, see, it pays off if you just wait a second and look around.
Meanwhile, Ubar is no doubt just in essentially robot cussing and cursing everybody for making an even bigger mess for him to clear up.
I think he's now actually in cleaning mode. Yeah, so he's just cleaning out the bodies and the room itself.
Like, hey, Jude, you were right. He didn't get to eat you.
I'm sure that'll come later.
Alrighty. As you progress through out of this room, you begin to smell something burning. It's a sort of gasoline sort of burn when a fire is like really dirty and sending all the horrible fumes your way. That's what you're starting to smell coming from a room up ahead.
So we've been crawling through tunnels and up and down to get the sense that the room up ahead might be the room that we escaped from through the floor.
It could well be. It could well be. It's certainly locked on this side, and there is like a pad on it, which looks like could be used to unlock.
Be my guest.
I swiped it.
Okay, yeah.
In case my miming didn't make that clear. Swipe.
Sorry, I was on another tab, and I only listen to words. I can't read signs, so the communication between the two of us is definitely
Oh
troubled.
no, yeah, we're fucked.
Yeah, it's tough. So you swipe the door, which slides open and reveals to be a control room beyond, looking down on the vats that you guys were previously in. And you can see that there's a fire started in this place, which is quickly burning up all of the controls and spread it down into the room of molten flesh. And you see Sanada there with the fuel that she's just spread around this room and the lighter thrown on the floor. Her arm is pretty badly torn apart. And now the rest of her clothes as well. She looks like she's been through hell and back again. And she looks at you and says, "What took you so long?"
Ubar had to clean up a mess.
Well, that makes sense.
At first I scowl at her, and then I think about it, and I'm like, no, I like you. Okay, it's fine. No, that was the right response. Damn it.
She nods. I see you picked up a new friend.
Yeah, she was kind of wandering around in the tunnels and, safety numbers, that kind of thing. She came in pretty handy.
Yeah, I'm
good
worthless
with
in
me.
combat, but I can track stuff.
Well, you tracked me here, so you guys must be all right. Is everyone okay?
No, not really. And he kind of steps back and opens up his robe, showing the blood pouring out of it.
We still have the stretcher from earlier on. We'll once Ubar has settled down, we can get you back out of here.
And there were medical supplies in that doctor's office. I'm sure we can find some to patch us up. We'll lock the doors, bar the grates, and get some rest.
Wait, one second. Are you okay? Or are you going to potentially turn into a flesh monster? Because I'm not really sure how he did that.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure I'm not going to turn into one of those. He didn't
gonna keep a hand on the plate.
He didn't have enough time, and well, I suspect he was going to, but now I think we should burn this whole place down.
Oh yeah,
Can
no,
we
I
sleep
agree
first?
with that.
Sorry,
Here?
Oh, can we sleep first? Go back a couple of rooms down the hallway and maybe secure it and sleep.
I guess if I don't really want to spend any more time here than I have to, but if you guys need to rest, then we better take one.
You look like you need to rest too.
I suppose so, yeah.
Maybe we just go down into the tunnels or something. I don't know. I like the fire.
Yeah.
That's a good idea. Let's go see
Thanks.
if this knocks Ubar out of his cleaning loop when he sees you. Wonder if he organizes body parts alphabetically.
Let's find out. So I think as you guys return to the room with Ubar, and essentially the threat is over, you guys can rest up and try and make your way eventually back to Nataku, where your friend Genevieve is incredibly sorry for what's happened, I think, to a group of you, but pleased to see that you're alive and well. Certainly apologetic to Savi, who she hasn't met before and didn't ask to be sent out here. But you guys get back to Nataku, assuming you choose to, of course. But what I want to know is what you do next, whether you stay in this relatively safe city, do you continue traveling together, or do you kind of try and make a living here? What do you think happens to Amen's little sort of epilogue? Cleric?
He's going to take some time to rest and heal up. And he understands you don't go it alone out here. You're not going to survive. And so he's going to be checking in with the LOM, and we can keep walking. We can stay here, maybe help. I mean, caravans going out, they're going to need people to protect them as they go. I'm sure there are more Davrons out there somewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, I think this is a place for now. Then I can see at least the Alam Ament pairing staying around town for a while. Although I suspect that something along the lines of Mitaku, there's that semi-secret organization, Hunters.
I don't have a name here. Damn it.
I don't have the
no.
books up.
There's a religion called the Cults of Silence. There, is that what you're thinking of?
No, there's the Eater, the Tarn, whichever. That are basically searching for vagabonds.
Right.
So I suspect that at some point, as ever with a group of vagabonds to stay in any one place for a period of time, they'll end up guarding a caravan that's a front for those, and they'll have to make a break for it one night as they realize that they're about to be discovered. Now, whether that's in conjunction with the our friends from the wild and our machine, that's sort of for them to fill in.
Right.
Yeah, and Savi, I think, she's not really a fighter. Like, she just kind of got drugged into this. She's not really an adventurer. She's new with. She doesn't remember a whole lot. So I think that what she would really do is kind of latch on to Robodrake, because she really liked him and he was funny and he had an attitude. And I know that he was kind of looking for a person because he'd kind of gotten left behind or whatever it was.
Right.
And with Savi and Sanada both being from the wilds, and she seemed kind of cool and sassy too. I think Savi would really, really like both of them and kind of try to form a little crew and hopefully live happily ever after in some not scary, terrifying, dangerous place.
Those are few and far between, but perhaps you guys will be some of the first to find one, a little oasis amongst all the misery. But I think that's a perfect note then, as we see what happens to our characters. Just about made it out there alive today. Although for a moment there, it was quite touch and go. I really thought I may end up party wiping there, because if that had killed Aments, if I'd rolled a little better on a couple of dice there, I think 2 attacks per round from different creatures, attack per round from different creatures, is deadly when you start rolling 4s quite a lot. So Nibiru combat, not to be messed with. That's what we've learned here. And we've had a great time playing Nibiru, I have to say. If you haven't checked it out yet, you definitely should go and check it out. We're going to be running a promotion all the way next week as well. So you'll be hearing more about the game. But it's on Kickstarter. You can get in a late pledge. And soon the pre-orders will be open there as well. So you can get yourself a PDF. And there'll be books and softcover copies out there as well in the wilds. So you can try your own hand at playing Nibiru. It really is a lot of fun. And it was a great chance to get into some sort of sci-fi horror with you guys this week. So let's go around and cast into Krogus. Did we enjoy ourselves? What do we think of Nibiru? Where can we find you guys online? Let's start with Cleric Accord. How was that tonight?
That was amazing. Stefan, it's always a pleasure to play with you. Thank you for saving Ahmed's life twice. It's I think that's what I enjoy about this game is the freedom to say, oh, I'm going to spend this influence point. I'm going to change this and being able to make it work. I really like it. I really like the openness of this game and this system. Very simple, very straightforward. I really enjoy it. It's whatever your mind can make of it. You can take it anywhere and really focus down on the relationships. Just, it's great. I love this. Check it out, guys. Go check it out. It's really worth it. Hi, I'm Kat. I'm at Cleric of Cord. That's where you'll find me either here or on Twitter. I have a pinned tweet on my page with all the different games and places that I'm playing. I will be back here tomorrow at 2 p.m. Eastern Time for Basilica the Cudgel and Greyhawk with my paladin Birdsong Periwinkle. Really enjoying her, really enjoying the game. Look forward to seeing y'all there, and then we'll see you around. Stop by and say hi.
Fantastic. And Staffen, same question as you, my friend.
Oh, super fun, super great finale, and well played, Will. Well played. Yeah, this is a system that when your brain is firing, you can allow it to just fire on all cylinders, and it just allows you to, as Kat was saying, make it work mechanically what you can see in the theater of the mind, and make the possibilities work out. Assuming the dice cooperate, of course, which, well, we'll talk quietly about Fantasy Grand Dice. But no, this arc has been a lot of fun. And as everybody's mentioned so far, on any number of occasions, almost very, very deadly, if not exactly so. But you can find me pretty much anywhere under Staffan TJ on the Twitters these days. I'm RQ Staffan. And right now I'm going to go back and probably go and lurk in the various chats in various channels until the next cameo arrives.
Fantastic. Awesome stuff. And last but by no means least, Buddy Soros, who we've had with us for the past 2 episodes. He came in on the sort of tail end of things, but got a lot of good action in there. How was that for you?
Oh, it's fantastic. There was a split second there, though, where before we retcon Ahmed's death and Alam had gone down before he spent that point, and Savi was the only one left, and I really thought that was the end of Savi. But thankfully, you guys are crazy intelligent and creative players, and we managed to come back from that and actually get out of it. That's insane. As you mentioned, I was only here for 2 of the episodes, and so I was not gonna lie, pretty unprepared. But I love that freedom you guys were talking about. I didn't know anything about the game, and I didn't get told no once, which is pretty incredible. Like, there's nowhere in the game where you're just outside of the line and you can't do it. And I think that's amazing. That speaks to a really, really good role-playing game. And I am so thankful I got to come on board. So thank you guys, and it was just a blast. But I'm Birdie, aka the Birdiesaurus. I am a variety streamer on Twitch, twitch.tv/the Birdiesaurus. I'm pretty much the Birdiesaurus everywhere you can find me on the internet. And I play in a couple other games. If you want to check that out, I've got a pinned tweet on my Twitter, and I also do some YouTube stuff. So if you want to check out my YouTube channel, I just put up a new video where we try some beer that I made, which is interesting. So check that out too.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I am sad that we won't be playing any more Nibiru for a little while, but I'm happy to have told the story of you guys today, and hopefully Drake and Charlotte get a chance to watch the VOD, and we'll know, I guess. We'll talk in the group chat about what they do afterwards. I'm sure we'll have a few ideas. But this is so much fun. If you haven't checked out Nibiru, definitely give it a chance. If you like this kind of weird shit like we do, then check it out on Kickstarter. Grab yourself a pre-order copy once those are out, or be a late backer. And until next time, my friends, try not to roll too many at once, because we want to be laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Bye.